Are we on the air?
You're now in the mix with The Corner Radio, hosted by Kill, banging nothing but classic hip-hop, soul, and R&B.
Kick this one here for me and my DJ.
What's good, what's good, what's good? Y'all tuned into The Corner Radio hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad up here today. I got my brother Jay. What's going on, fam?
What's going on, man?
Oh, man, everything is good. Still bugging off that stuff you made me drink today. You know what I mean? But it's all for health. It's all for good health. You know, natural fruit spot. I appreciate it.
Yes,
I got my man DJ Rec in the house. What's up, Rec One?
What's going on, man?
Everything is good. Everything is good. I'm excited. I'm hyped. Our special guest, her first time sitting in with us, Bianca. What's going on, miss?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Of course.
Nah, thank you for coming on. We've been looking for a female to get up here and rap hip-hop with us, so I appreciate you taking the invite. I'm excited to chop it up with you. You know, we're going to be on our best behavior tonight. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be on our best behavior. But tonight's show, we are chopping it up, just kind of like with the Dilla show. I'm sad to say that after doing podcasts for almost 2 years, we've never really saluted the female MCs. You know, we talked about some in between episodes, but, you know, just the other day I was sitting there talking with Evan. It was just like, yo, there's so many dope female MCs that have come out over the years. You know, there's been conversations about, yo, where the female MCs now, everything like that. So just kind of wanted to sit down, chop it up about some of our favorite MCs, our top 5 favorite female MCs, and just anybody who may be slept on, whatever like that. So Bianca, you're a special guest tonight. Why don't you start off? Who's number 5 on your top 5 MC list? Female MC list.
So, and this is they're gonna be the same ones I do albums for too. But right. I have to say Queen Latifah. You can't beat Queen. Like, come on. Okay, and then I'm gonna have to give it.
Hold tight. We're just gonna start with Queen first.
Okay.
So can you tell us a little bit about why you like La like that?
Okay, because I think she set the tone. Once she dropped like songs like UNITY and Just Another Day, that's like my favorite album from her. But I think she I actually spoke about this previously before to, numerous people. But, back then, a lot of the female MCs, they were more for women's empowerment and try to show women in a more positive light. And then once it got to the more later 90s, we had Kim come out, Foxy Brown, Trina, and it was a more sexualized female. So they weren't really rapping about, like, oh, don't have that guy talking to you in type of way. It was more like, hardcore Little Kim type stuff. So, I felt like Queen Latifah was a good representation for women in general. And I liked her delivery or flow. She could talk about, stuff that was going on in, the hood. She could then turn it around and talk about, just hip hop. Like, she was versatile and she could spit. So,
all right. No doubt. And just for people out there, Bianca's a little younger than us, you know what I mean? And that's why I wanted to get her perspective on it, because La's definitely on my list, but I'm gonna go a little bit back further than the you and I ride joint. So, for all, but this is one of the things I was so excited to hear about, just to see who she was gonna be picking. James, who's number 5 on your list, bro?
This was hard, man. There's a lot of dope female MCs in my opinion, but I'm pretty sure you might even take it a little bit further back than I'm gonna take it tonight. But my number 5, I'm gonna start off with MC Lyte.
Wow, number 5. Okay.
Yeah, and even racking and stacking these for me was difficult, man. But I got Lyte at 5. Joints like Cha Cha Cha, Paper Thin, Light as a Rock, Stop, Look, Listen, Cappuccino. Before you even get to like Keeping On later on, man.
Right.
Solid catalog.
Yeah, no doubt. You can't go wrong with Lyte at 5. Right, who you got at number 5, dude?
All right, so Jay, before I tell you who my number 5 is, man, I need to put this disclaimer out. So I tried to cover, you figure, the last 25, 30 years with the top 5. So Jay, I'm telling you, don't try to hang me.
Nah.
All right. So my number 5, and Kill know who my number 5 is. My number 5 is Rhapsody, man. I'm a huge fan. I think. See, I see what he did. See.
Good.
I think with the right situation and the right things going on, she can be put in a top 5. She just needs to show improve. She's like on the bubble, but we haven't seen anything yet as far as just mainstream. I think once mainstream catches up, I think it's going to be a problem. I think she can actually be what Lauryn Hill might have been without the singing, because I don't think Rhapsody can sing, but from a lyricist standpoint and just the way she views things and she can put it into context, I think she can be there. So my number 5 is Rhapsody, man.
All right, now tell me this, bro, because I don't really know a lot about Shorty. So for somebody like myself, or somebody who's watching, who's not up on Rhapsody, where's the best starting point to get in with why you feel like she fits into the top 5? What's a good album or mixtape to jump into?
All right, so a good album. I'm gonna pull it up right now for you. That's not a problem. I just didn't have it pulled up. She's got a song called Betty Shabazz.
Yes,
that's a banger. That's a good starting point. But give me a minute to just pull up this album. Oh, I think it's called A Beautiful Thing. That's what it's called. It's called A Beautiful Thing. That's a good place to start. That's her first like full album to where she's not doing a mixtape. She's doing an album.
Was it A Beautiful Thing or Beauty and the Beast?
Nah, I think it's A Beautiful Thing. Give me 1 second.
And you said she just signed to Rock Nation, right?
Yeah, she just signed to Rock Nation this past year. She's one to watch out for. I mean, you know how it is. People catch on to stuff after the fact. You can put it out to this person. I'm sorry. It's called The Idea of Beautiful. Check that first. Then check the Crown EP. And then after that, come back, let me know what you think. She runs with Knife and that whole, well, I mean the ones that don't know. She runs with Knife Wonder and that whole Jamless Squad. So if you listen to Knife and that whole, conglomerate, I'm sure you've heard her. You just might not know who she was, but she got big things on the horizon. She just got to stay with it.
All right. No doubt. Coming in at my number 5, I'm going a long time ago. I'm coming in with Roxanne Shante.
I knew it.
I knew he was going there.
I'm coming in with Shante at number 5. You know me, man. I got so many different criteria, but in '84, it really wasn't about albums. In '84 was really just about your 12-inch singles. A lot of people really didn't have label deals like that. Back then. You're looking at Curtis Blow on Mercury, Running B on Profile. But for the most part, you were living off of 12 inches. And Roxanne's Revenge dropped in '84. And a lot of people don't know Shante was based on a label, Pop Art, that was actually out of Philly. You know what I mean? Pop Art, a lot of artists were on that. A lot of the Juice Crew artists originated on that label, which was out of Philly. But in '84, she had Roxanne's Revenge, which to me was dope, which was crazy. Just, the answer record for UTFO's Roxanne. Yeah. Marley's first prodigy. Marley out of Queensbridge, his first prodigy. The 12-inch in '86, Queen of Rocks, which was crazy. Then she had the other 12-inch with Biz Markie in '86, the Def Fresh crew. Then she had in '87, the Have a Nice Day 12-inch. And then in '89, the Bad Sister album dropped. It had Live on Stage and Feeling Kind of Horny. I think with Shante, she just wasn't able to, so much changed from the 80s into the 90s. You know what I mean? And it was a thing of when, you had Houdini, you had Run, you had those type MCs. And once Rakim kind of stepped up and KRS came into the play, a lot of those MCs just couldn't keep up with what the newer school MCs were doing. And I think that kind of what played Shante, because even when the real Roxanne came out, to me, she still didn't touch anything that Roxanne Shante was doing. So, definitely got to salute her. Like I said, she only had one album out, but remember back in the early 80s, everything was about your 12-inch singles. So, and I mean, when she dropped in '84, I was 10, and she was actually,
Hey, you wasn't that much older than me, dog. Let's just say we was both in school.
We was both in school, 84. So it was actually I think it was the first concert I went to was Houdini, Curtis Blow, and Roxanne Shante out in West Philly back in like 84, 85. So definitely got to salute Shante for that. So that's my number 5. Bianca, who is your number 4 female MC?
So I'm gonna have to give it to the Brat.
Okay.
I mean, I just love Functified because I'm actually really into that kind of you can say that G-Funk type feel. And she's the only female that I've really heard that's actually been able to flow over the beats effortlessly.
Right.
So it's like, I mean, and the Brat to me, she stayed consistent. I mean, she had Jermaine Dupri, of course, on production. So it's not like she could really go wrong in that aspect. But you know, I liked her overall delivery. She did in the 2000s. She switched the game up a little bit and came out with "What Do You Like" with Tyrese, which was her whole image before. I kind of had this like, you know, tomboyish, and then she was really like feminine. Which goes to what I said, the change, and she kind of, you know, moved with the industry. So, you know, overall, I think the Brat, she's good. And I'm like,
no doubt, I rocked with the Brat. You know, to me, it was fun because so much. To me, the two labels, Bad Boy and So Def, were always compared at that time, and I kind of felt like the Brat. And this is no ways. I just felt like she was the hardest you were going to get from So Def, but was still marketable and you could play on the radio and things like that. So now I definitely feel you on the Brat joint at number 4. Do you have a favorite album from her or anything? Or is that going to be later in the album?
Yeah, Functified was my favorite one. The first.
All right. No doubt. Jay, so you got number 4, bro?
Number 4, I got Bahamadia. I was a fan of hers for a long time, man. I remember the You Know How We Do It remix, the ski remix.
Mm-hmm. Know about that, man.
Come on now. The original was dope. Push Up Your Lighter when she was on with the Roots. Definitely Three's the Hard Way. Rugged Rough. And
that True Honey Buns joint. That
man.
Oh man, come on.
Hey, you forgetting the classic John, Jace. Come on, man.
What you talking about? Total Wreck?
Nah. It's the John.
Yeah, man. I mean, that goes without saying, I thought. But yeah.
Hey, nah,
but
you gotta
for those
put
who
that
don't
out
know, because there's some people out there who don't know. But yeah, Bahamadia is definitely dope. I got my number 4.
All right, no doubt. I think the thing with Bahamadia with me, I was just salty that she just had that one album out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Shantae, like you just said, only had one.
But keep in mind, remember, we're talking about the eras. You know, when the era when, you know, Bahamadia came out, we talking 11 years later past that 12-inch thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So in Shantae's era, putting out a 12-inch every year was almost the equivalent of putting out an album. But I wasn't saying that that's a knock on her. I was just saying that I was disappointed that she never had any really more. I know she had an EP out because Dilla did a track for her on there, but I just never, you know, kind of understood like what happened with Shorty. Like, you know, like she just disappeared.
She moved out. She moved out west.
I got a question for you, Kill. Do you think that Roxanne wrote her verse on the bridge on, what was it? We Live This on the, you remember that?
Nah. What joint was that?
On the Queensbridge Finest joint?
You know, I never peeped that joint. But I am glad that you brought that up, because one thing I forgot to say in the beginning is that there's always been a lot of hoopla about female MCs writing their rhymes.
Right.
And I apologize for not saying this earlier, just for people watching. My biggest thing is that I don't know who wrote what. All we can go off of is what was put out. Like, I wasn't in the studio with Herbie and them. I can't tell you if Salt and Pepper wrote their rhymes. I know things I've heard and things like that. So just moving forward, because I know I've been in these arguments with people. Like, I was talking to Nick and he sent me this clip of Sean P saying he don't like no female rap.
Yo, I heard about that.
Yeah, he was like, I don't like none of them. And I'm like, damn, bro. But I know a lot of times people are like, well, they ain't even write their rhymes and they ain't do this. Truth be told, a lot of these dude MCs that people look up to and praise don't write their rhymes, you know? So for this show, we're just talking about songs that they put out. I don't know who wrote what, but the songs that we heard, that's how we're rating the show. So, Jace, to answer your question, I never heard the joint. To be honest, I want to say Shantae. I was just looking it up. She was born in '69, so she was probably like, still young when Roxanne's Revenge came out. So I can't necessarily say if Marley wrote the rhymes, if she wrote the rhymes. But again, I don't know about that QB joint. But one thing that I can say about, even if people didn't write their rhymes, their flows were perfect with it. You know what I mean? And that's an art too. Not defending ghostwriting or anything like that, but there's some people who, I've listened to some Puff albums and I'm like, Puff is not an MC no matter who writes his rhymes. You know what I mean? But then you can have somebody who's nice and riding the beat right, even if those rhymes, were written. So I'm sorry, I need to hear, was the verse dope? And that's why you were asking?
Yeah. I could have heard Prodigy. I could have heard Prodigy writing that verse, but I don't know. It was dope either way, and she caught it right. Okay. Jace, who's your number 4? I mean, I apologize, Rack. Who's your number 4?
My number 4 is no question about if she write her rhymes is Rod Digger. We know she write her joints. Digger is just female backpack to me, man. She reminds me of any female MC that I would see in the ciphers back in the day. Step up to the cipher and spit bars, no questions asked. She'll leave you when you leave the cipher. You like, yo, who was Shorty? And that's what sticks out to me about Rod Digger. That's why she made my list, because even though her career is short, I don't remember her putting out anything that was trash from a lyrical standpoint. Even if she tried to kind of bend and change it a little bit just to get a little bit of mainstream shine, there was still bars in it. The joint that she did for J Records when they sampled the Percolator, she was spitting. It was no trash rhyme in it. It's bars. So for me, Digger, she never takes a night off, man, ever.
All right, no doubt. My number 4, I'm coming behind Bianca with Queen Latifah. Going back to when I first heard Rap for My Madness back in '89, you know what I mean? It was just like, yo, the beats, 45 King doing her production was perfect. That was bananas. Then when I seen the video for Dance For Me, I was like, dope. You know what I mean? And it just kept getting more because, these were back in the days and when you would get 2 to 3 singles before you even got the album. You only heard the 12, and so I would hear Rap for My Madness. I would, hear Inside Out. I would hear Dance For Me before I even got All Hail the Queen, which is crazy to me. So many bangers on there. Her next album, Nature of a Sister, I wasn't in love with, but it did have Latifah's Had It Up to Here, which was dope to me. And then her third album to me, Black Rain, she really caught her stride with that joint, and of course that's what Bianca was talking about with UNITY. Just Another Day when she samples the Janet Jackson joint, the Herb Albert, and the Walking in, the joint, The Rain, the Black Hand Side joint that set the whole joint off was crazy. And even Quiet as Kept, she had the joint at the end of that called Winky's Thing, where she was singing and kind of jazz it out, which was real dope at that time. So I gotta go with Latifah, man. One of the things we'll talk about later is why I personally believe it's very hard, much more hard for female MCs to have a longer body of work than it is for male MCs. And Bianca kind of touched on that too, with just having to go from empowering to now you have to kind of show skin and sell sex and things like that. But definitely Latifah is coming in at my number 4 spot. Bianca, who's coming in at your number 3?
So this is hard. This whole list is hard because I feel weird like ranking. When it comes to music, I feel weird like ranking anybody because it's like sometimes certain people are at an equal playing field, right, or I feel like I'm disrespecting them in a sense. I'm like, no. So I guess I'm gonna say Lauryn Hill, but not Lauryn Hill, her own album, but the Fugees. Right. I didn't like her by herself, and that's a very unpopular opinion. But with the Fugees, I thought she was just raw. Like, you kind of have Wyclef and the other dude kind of doing their one. And then all of a sudden,
other dude, I love it. I love it.
I mean, he is. When you think about the Fugees, how many times do you think about the other guy?
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, Prize got some verses, Bianca. Don't sleep.
No. Prize has one line. There's only one line that I ever quote in my life, and that's too many MCs, not enough mics. That's the most quote I can get out of Prize. But back to you, B.
But yeah, so I mean, you can listen to Ready or Not, any of the songs from the Fugees, and the moment you heard her voice, your attention automatically goes to her. Like, you forget the Fugees is the group. Right. You just Lauren. So I kind of liked her, the way she was kind of raw and her delivery when she was with the Fugees. Now, when she did her own album, I feel like she was kind of this flower child, kind of, she did have the women empowerment thing, which I like, but she wasn't as aggressive. Right. Now, that's what I actually like about, rappers. They're aggressive with their flow, their delivery's tight. So I'm gonna give it to Lauren.
All right, no doubt. Jace, who comes in at your number 3, bro?
My number 3 is Raw Digger. For a lot of the reasons Rex said, I think I don't think she's deniable, man. She's undeniable in my opinion. I remember her on Cowboys on the Fugees joint. Was the first time I heard her. Like Lauren introducing her to the world. Joints that she did with Busta Rhymes, the Imperial, Tight, Straight Spittin'. Where she is straight spitting. She was like, to me, she was like the Tom girl from around the way that was always with the boys, but she had a flair to her, and she was appealing. She wasn't hard on the eyes either. Yeah, at the time. But she was definitely one of the guys that she could serve a bunch of fellas too.
Yeah, true indeed. Rack, who you got your number 3 spot, bro?
Yo, I'm piggybacking with Bianca, man. Lauryn Hill. I agree with her. I love Fugees Lauryn Hill. But I can respect the miseducation Lauryn Hill too. I don't know why she softened it up for the solo album. I would have liked to hear more aggressive Lauryn Hill. I made a note on point in. I wanted to hear more like when she spit Final Hour. I wanted to hear more like that. I would have wished she would have done stuff with more boom bap producers, just so that she could show that type of versatility. Because we know she's appealing to the masses. We get that, but she brings something from the essence of hip hop that's rarely seen. She's a triple threat, always has been, but I don't think we ever got to see what we got to see from everyone else on this list that we've talked about so far. Everybody else that we've talked about so far on this list has done something from the hip hop side to the mainstream side, and it's been well received. But Lauren hasn't. Lauren never did something the way you'd be like, "Yo, what is that?" Now, if you want to count Fugees, you can count that. But from a solo standpoint, no. But she's my number 3, man. She spits. You cannot question what she does as a lyricist. We talked about this last night. I'm not gonna go too deep, but we had this conversation less than 24 hours ago. But Lauren is a beast, man. Period, point blank. Lauren is a beast. I just wish she would have had a bigger catalog. It is what it is, but she's my number 3.
All right. Well, looks like we on it tonight because Lauren's my number 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's funny because I thought I was gonna be the odd man out, like having a I talk to have Lauren at number 1.
Nah, I can't put it there.
And I thought I'd be the odd man out at number 3. But again, everything that you guys said, Rec just said, we had this huge conversation last night about Lauren. And one of the things, and this is one of the things that prayerfully this show does for people, because a lot of times people will be like, these are my number 5s, or this is my number 1. It really don't have a criteria for it. You know what I'm saying? One of the things for me is my criteria with Lauren. To me, she's never done a whole album. So like, I've said before, with Just Blaze, he can never crack my top 10 because one of my criteria is you have to produce an entire album. Yeah. In my opinion, all the great producers have done that. They've produced an entire album. And that's something that Just doesn't have on his resume. That's obviously not everybody's, because I know a lot of people who do have Just in their top 10, but that's me personally. To me, it's very hard. 3000 is probably the only one who's done it, who is in a group who has cracked my top 10 list. To me, Lauren, I can't give her the best female MC ever because throughout those Fuji albums, she was only spitting 16s. And there's a huge difference between having to write a 16 and having to write an entire song 12 times. So for me, that's like my criteria. But Lauren is ill. Again, it started with me with the Nappy Heads remix, then on to the Vocab remix, then the entire score, where she just annihilated every track she was on. And I think everybody, for the most part, was waiting for the Miseducation to be hip hop. Everything Bianca and Rec just said. And, it's an incredible album. It's just not a hip hop album. You know what I mean? So that's what, to me, it was like, that could have been the time to shine for her to take it and run it with it and win the race. And she didn't. I kind of compare it to, if cats remember, in 97 when Wu-Tang Forever came out. Like RZA was on this run, and I was like, yo, if this Wu-Tang Forever is like that, he may be able to knock Primo off. And in my opinion, it wasn't. But that was his opportunity. It's almost like back in the day with wrestling, when it'd be like Ric Flair gonna you got this window of opportunity. They dropped the ball, and that was, to me, if the Miseducation would have been what it was for R&B, if it would have been that for hip hop, to me, that could have cemented Lauren at the #1 spot, but she didn't, so, and again, somebody else, I've been in countless arguments who people say Lauren is the best female MC ever. It doesn't matter to them that she was only spitting 16s, but there's a big difference between spitting a 16 and having to create the whole entire album, but we're gonna do a show on that later, because a lot of these new school MCs love having 100 features on their album, you know what I'm saying? And keeping in mind, when we came out, Rakim had no features. Nope. Kane had no features, or it would just be Biz, or School Lover on one posse cut, but the rest of the album was you shown and proven. You get a Game album, every song has a feature on it. If not two features, 2 or 3 MCs rhyming on it. So to me, that's a big difference. So Lauren comes in at #3 across the board for me, Bianca and Rec. Bianca, who's your #2?
Okay, so my #2 is just based off this person just being iconic. A lot of people will be like, oh, I don't know about her lyricism, but I'm going to give it to Missy. Okay. Now, Missy, her videos just knocked the world out. Like, she set when she dropped The Rain, everybody was like, yo, even now, you see that, and that's an iconic image. Missy Elliott, she set a high bar. I don't think anybody has come in as more of like an entertainer type MC yet. So I think she's actually still the only one in her lane. But yeah, I can't beat it either as far as I'm concerned. Her newer stuff, I'm not speaking on that. So I'm just referring to stuff like, Super Duper High, Sock It To Me. Now, I do not condone her newer stuff. But I think she just needs direction, because she's trying to connect with this newer, mainstream, and it's just, she needs better direction. But before that, Missy, good.
The funny thing about Missy, it's one of the few times in life when I was like, when I first heard, I think she was on that remix, that Bad Boy remix with Gina Thompson.
Things you do.
Things you do. And the first time I heard it, I was like, yo, this chick is whack. She's not gonna make nothing. Like, it was one of those moments, because in my mind, I'm an A&R, so I know who's gonna blow and who's not gonna blow. And I was like, yo, this chick is whack. When The Rain came out, I was like, this chick is super whack. And then when Sock It To Me came out, I was like, damn, I was wrong. Is the one person who I've probably done this a couple times, but that would be like, if I was a label executive, I would have passed on Missy. And that would have been my biggest mistake ever. Like, that was the thing. And like Bianca said, everything, I loved everything that she could do, for the songwriting. Yeah.
My #2 is gonna surprise y'all, man. My #2 is Rhapsody.
Okay.
I want Rhapsody at #2, man, for her lyrical ability, her wit, man. She outshines a lot of MCs that are in people's top 5, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
The only thing that I think she has going against her is that she hasn't been around as long as a lot of other female MCs. Couple of joints Rec gave y'all a couple of joints, but a couple of joints I'd also like to add on top of Betty Shabazz is Dark Knights, Jedi Code, which she's on with Jane Electronica, and who else? Is one other big name on there that she's with. I forget, but she holds her own. Hashtag Goals, which is on the new Crown EP. Signed to Jamala's under Rock Nation. I salute Rhapsody. Please keep doing what you're doing. I don't care if you get the public notoriety. She was on the Kendrick joint and Shine.
Killed it.
Yo, Rhapsody is a solid number 2, and if you disagree, okay.
All right, Jay. Okay. All right.
Okay, Jay's about to get violent. Like, if you have my address, you know, come to the crib. Like, Jay, okay, cool. Cool. Jay's about to get violent over there over Rhapsody, man.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'll be right there with him.
All right, Rack, who's your number 2, man?
All right, so my number 2 is Queen Law, man. Jersey in the building. I'm like you, Kill. When I seen that first video, I was like, man, who is this? Then she came out with Ladies First, Harmony. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just the first time you see something like that is Queen Latifah, because we didn't have that back, 1989, 88, 90. We was walking around with medallions and all that, but there was no female representation of black unity and strong females. And she came out from the door letting you know exactly what it was. There was no question where she stood. I'm like Kill, that the first album, 45 King gave you some nuggets. Second album was tight, but Black Rain that came out, everything got put together. And then she's super versatile. There's nothing that she can't do when it comes to music. She can sing, she can spit with the best of them. I mean, it is what it is, But Queen La is my number 2, man. That's my number 2.
My number 2, Rod Digger. Rod Digger to me is like, oh my God, man. She could just bang with the big boys, man. Like, I feel like Rod Digger, for cats who don't know, I don't know if she's still with dude, but her baby father was Young Z from The Outsiders.
Yep.
And the crazy thing is no disrespect to Young Z, but I think Rod Digger was better than him. He messed up when you in a relationship, and it's like your shorty got better beats than you got. You know what I mean? But it just is what it is. But Rod was just a problem. I mean, like Jay said already, the Flip Mode Squad, they had this joint out, Cha Cha Cha.
Yes, sir.
Cha 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 Cha.
Yeah, oh my God. Oh, lyrically inclined to get lyrical. Like, Rod just had that gift of knowing how to set off a verse. Like, and that's an art. Every MC doesn't really have that art to be able to set that verse off and just get you. The Cha 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 joint, the lyrically inclined to get lyrical. That was stupid. The What You Come Around Here For, off the Violator joint. And then a lot of people don't know about this joint. I still got to send this out to you, Jace. I apologize. Rec, I apologize for last night.
It's okay. It's all right.
Right here. Called
I remember that.
This is the joint that's crazy. This is the album that we all would have wanted Lauren to do. Knots produced this whole album. So from the door, the beats are stupid.
Insane.
It's 10 tracks. Like, to me, I've always been a fan of short albums. I mean, no album should be longer than 12 tracks. Like, get in, get out. I don't like intros. I don't want interludes. I don't want nothing. I want to put a CD in and hit play. I don't want to hear no long intro or nothing. And that's what this is. You put it in, and it's just banging. She had the single out called This Ain't No Little Kid Rap, which was crazy. So this joint right here is bonkers. Rod Digger is my number 2. Bianca, who's your number 1?
Okay, so as far as the number 1, I don't think we've had our number 1 female yet. I don't think that person's come out yet. I don't, when I think of male MCs, there's like a few that come to my head that I'm like, okay, lyrically, they're solid. Even from the production they choose, it's solid. I feel like a woman, we haven't had it all yet. Like, I've seen it a little bit in, like you said, Lauren, she just never came with that album. I feel like she never reached her potential as far as I'm concerned. I think she could have been number 1, but she just didn't do it. you know, so it's a lot of those. Like if the women had pushed more, I think they would have had the number one spot. But I don't think there's been one woman where I would say, yeah, she's number one. So I don't have anybody because I don't think anybody's hit that yet, unfortunately.
That's an ill. That's ill.
Yes, that is ill.
I ain't mad at it either.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. All right, Jace. I think I know who's number one because you're running out of cards in your head at this point in time. So I kind of think who's about to throw out the big joker. But, you know, I'll bite. Who's your number one, Jace?
Me, honestly, man. Yeah, man. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to say Lauryn Hill.
I knew it. I mean, I knew you was running out of cards.
So, and the reason I say this, man, for the younger generation, anybody under the age of, I'm gonna say 30. No, I'm gonna say 20. I'm gonna say 20. No, I'm gonna say 30. Lauryn Hill is to me what Nicki Minaj is to younger generation now. She could sing, she could rap. Yeah, Nicki giving you an album, but Lauryn back in the day, man, she carried the Fugees, in my opinion. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was not a complete hip hop album, but it was a great album. I would consider it a classic. It was not what a hip hop purist probably would have liked, but I enjoyed it that much more because it was not complete boom bap. So I thought she was an all around complete artist. I don't believe she sold herself out. I think she maintained her artist integrity. And she was a good lyricist, and for that, I salute her. I give her my number one.
All right. Cool. Like I said, I've argued with many people, and most people have Lauryn as their number one. So I can't be mad at that. Rack, who you got for your number one?
I can't believe you, Jace.
Sorry, Rack.
It's all good, man. My number one is the Lyte, man. Lyte. I think from a standpoint of from completeness, she was mainstream later on in her career, but from the beginning is no denying her stamp. From a flow standpoint, it doesn't get any better. You knew exactly who she was when she stepped on the mic. You could tell by her flow, her cadence. She's another female MC that could walk right into a cypher and destroy you. Braggadocio was always there. You know, confidence was never a question. I like the fact that in the second half of her career, she was able to reinvent herself and she knew where to stop. She didn't push it. I don't think she was one of the ones that was going to go and take off some clothes for the sake of music. She was able to reinvent herself again a third time. So I appreciate that because I think she wanted to keep the essence of who she was intact. But for me, man, Lyte, sorry, man.
Nah, ain't nothing to be sorry about. Sorry. That's my number one because I'm out of cards too. So
yeah,
MC Lyte.
Okay.
Man, what can I say about Lyte? Man, Paper Thin may be one of the dopest hip hop songs I've ever heard. The video is probably one of my favorite videos ever. When they're driving and she gets off like, yo, I just want to catch the train.
Yeah.
And Milk is like, yo, we got these fly Jettas. You know, that's what I loved about the 80s. You didn't have to have no bid. Nope. You ain't have to have, you know, a Range Rover. Like, you was good with a Jetta. You was good, you know. You listen to Muscle and Thompson, you got a Pathfinder.
Got the Cherry Pathfinder.
That's all he wanted. He ain't have no range 4.6 or, you know, it was just simple. But her getting on the train, that whole video, the way the song was set up, because I think it's the only hip hop song that's ever followed the technique of then the song becoming an instrumental. Yeah. You know, and just hearing her ad libs throughout it. You know what I mean? The beat was stupid. It was dumb. 10% Diss, which made it one of the hardest. For Lyte. I mean, she just killed you with 10% Diss. Yep. Lyte as a rock. I mean, just all the joints that Lyte hit you with. Then to go on to the second album, like Breck and Jace, we've all said cha cha cha.
Stop, look, listen.
Stop, look, and listen. My joint was the I Am the Light.
That was tight.
That Diamond used for Best Kept Secret, which was crazy because when I heard Diamond's Best Kept Secret, I was like, I heard this before, and it was Light's joint. But the one verse, and me and Rep was doing this last night, whatever, if we had to do verses, the one verse I think that showed me Light was bananas. On the second album, on Eyes on This, there's a song called Survival of the Fittest.
Yes.
And it's the remix. I don't like the remix. This was the original joint off this album right here, the First Priority Basement Flavor. This was the joint that had the joint with MC Lyte and Positive K, I'm Not Having It. That was this joint. Survival of the Fittest is on here. This chick was the first person, well, the first female, because G-Rap worked. She spit 68 bars straight. There's no chorus, there's no nothing. So I'm gonna just go over some of these lyrics real quick. Never does one know the force that is in them, till some punk jumps up to offend them. Then I have to subtract, minus and eliminate those who try to front and try to perpetrate like they know me well when they don't know me at all, saying hi, how you doing, and I'll give you a call. Then to top it off, saying they'll visit when they don't know the zip code, much less the digits. Like Shelly says, sometimes you have to get cooked. Like MC Lyte says, yo, you're gonna get buffed. Each and every time you try to play me, I'm not the egg to be cracked, the digger to be smacked. So when you see me, you better be fully strapped at all times because it only takes like one time and one time only. I'm the microphone controller MC sucker folder. Light will take you places you never want to see. So if it's dark, you know what I mean? So show appreciation. Gratitude is necessary. Because when I hear weak rhymes, I'm quick to bury those who try to know me before they meet me. You can't grow on me. So don't greet me. I'm sick of pretending and all this make-believe. Pronto, step back, push back, give me space to breathe. Again, she goes like that for 68 bars straight. And that was the first female I've ever seen do that. So Light comes in at my number one. I agree with Jace. I don't think she was going to go the whole trying to sell sex route. She tried to keep up. I remember she had that whack-ass song with Puff, sampled the Upside Down.
Hey, man, that was a banger. You talking about I rocks the body that rocks the party. I rocks the...
Okay, nah.
That's why you didn't like Missy. That's a Missy joint.
Right, because see, that's your DJ mind.
Yeah.
DJ mind coming. Rock the party. It wasn't rocking no cypher. We wasn't playing that on 88.9. No underground hip hop was playing. You know, I rock the body, whatever the hell. I just remember she sampled Upside Down by Diana Ross.
Don't get it twisted. I walk both lines, but if I'm in if I'm in that party, that's what I'm playing.
Right, but that was not a banger. Like to me, her last joint was probably, and people forget that Roughneck album. I forgot the name.
That was classic.
But the Roughneck album and the Georgie
Porgy was dope.
Georgie Porgy.
Georgie Porgy was dope. That was dope. So, you know, she walked that line, but I do think, like Bianca was saying, with female MCs, you had to kind of keep up to stay relevant, you know, and that I always felt like that wasn't fair for them, because if you weren't going to be a Foxy Brown or Little Kim, then there was just no place for you anymore in hip hop.
Yes.
I felt like,
that's not
you know,
right.
as men, we never went through that. Nobody was gonna say, well, if Heavy D don't get a 6-pack, we done with that. Or,
and that's exactly why we haven't had our number one yet.
Right. You know, it's not like somebody said, well, yo, Big don't lose pounds or Big Pun don't go on a diet, you know, but whereas female MCs, they were put into this space of having to, you know, and that at the end of the day, Latifah and Lyte, they're just not sex symbols, you know. So once that time came up, I just felt like that's why you had a lot of MCs bow. Is why I respect Rhapsody. I Won't Hold You. Her voice has never really captivated me. That's why I never really rocked with her like that. But I think she's dope. But her voice just, when I heard the voice, I was just like, nah, I can't really rock with her.
But see, that's what attracted me to her, was her voice.
Then
when I got to see the package, I was like, okay, I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying?
Like, the first time you heard Ho's voice, were you stuck?
You said the first time I heard Ho's voice?
Yeah, because his voice was totally different at the time when he came out.
Yeah, you talking about what, 88, 89?
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not even about, it's just like, she has the monotone flow. And if the voice, you know, it's like Guru said, to me, it's just mostly the voice. You know, like I don't like Papoose' voice. Like that's just, you know, other people may like that. So it's nothing wrong with her voice. It just doesn't do it for me. And then on top of that, I'm not in love with the production. The production doesn't have me jumping out the window. So those two things just kind of equal. It's hard to crack my rotation when I don't like your voice and I'm not in love with the production. You know, think about Group Home. Group Home cracked our rotation because of those primo beats. It was like no matter how subpar Malachi was, I always thought that was a good MC and he had a dope voice.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But for the most part, you take those same jokers and put them on somebody else's production. Ain't nobody listening to Group Home. You know what I mean? So again, the production, I'm not saying it's whack. Again, like in Jace, this is what me and Rec was talking about last night. Just for me with production, I want to be moved to make something. You know what I mean? So if I hear a beat, I want to be like if I hear Alchemist beat, I'm like, God damn, I gotta go turn the machine on. Like, let me turn this game off. Let me go upstairs. So a lot of times with production, I need to be pushed. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason. But again, I'm not saying she's whack. Nowhere, nothing like that. It's just not my cup of tea. Some people like fried onions. Some people can't stand fried onions. You know what I mean? I can't eat a cheesesteak without fried onions. Tanya can't stand fried onions. So, you know, again, I think Rhapsody is dope. I've learned to like her more, especially after Kendrick's To Pimp a Butterfly. I really thought she really did dope on that verse. So again, you know, it goes back to even Pooh. I don't want to get too off topic, but with Little Brother, I never was a big fan of Pooh. But when I heard that album he did with Knox, I'm like, yo, Pooh is kind of dope. You know what I mean? So again, the voice of your flow may not catch me, but if the beats are making me be like, oh snap! Like if you haven't heard that Pooh album with Knox,
tough.
He freaked a couple of samples that had me like, yo, how did he do that? Like that's
I'm
what
still trying to figure out how you flip that memory lane, dog.
You know, but so that's it. So those are our top 5. Bianca, you can go through what are your 5 albums? I know you said they're gonna match the artist, so I'm intrigued to hear what albums they are. What are your 5 albums?
So, Queens. I think. Well, I would put. Let's see. Shoot. I think I would do them in different order, but I'm just gonna not put them in order. Queen Latifah's 3rd album, which is Black Rain, right? Super Duper Fly by Missy. Lauryn Hill, I would do The Score.
Okay.
She was vicious at that. And then the Brat Funkified.
Okay.
That thing was G-Funk. So
all right, no doubt. Jace, what are your top 5 female albums?
I don't remember the name. Y'all can shoot me for this. Lyte's first album,
Light as a Rock.
Light as a Rock.
That The Imperial, Rod Digger's joint, The Imperial. The Score for Rod Digger and for Lauryn Hill. Rhapsody's Crown, her latest joint. And that I'm gonna hold off with that right now. But honorable mentions are coming back right because
What happened?
I'm serious. This was hard, huh?
What happened?
No, man, because there are a lot of dope female MCs, man. There are a lot of female MCs that didn't crack my 5 today. But I do commend y'all, man. It's y'all have it. Female MCs have it harder than male MCs in this game.
Yes.
And that kind of parallels, I believe, how women are treated in society. I'm not on women's equal. I'm just calling it like I see it, man. That's what I honestly truly think. So I salute y'all.
All right. Rec, what about you? What's your top 5 albums?
Top 5, Muhammadiyah, Collage, released in 96, 15 tracks. Wordplay, produced by Guru. Rugged Rough, produced by Primo. You know how we do. Ski banged on that. The John, The Roots, True Honey Buns, Primo, and the most slept on John on there, 3 the Hard Way. Classic album. If you have not heard Muhammadiyah, the Collage, you need to go and grab it. Funny enough, man, Lil' Kim Hardcore. It is not safe for work. I'm telling you that now. Yo, I just think that was a cohesive album. Y'all are laughing. I know y'all are laughing. Jay's over there dying.
I'm not laughing because the
production reached through my TV and was like, "Hey, man, you need to listen to this." And I couldn't understand until I realized okay, she's in deep with who she's running with. That's how she's able to get this production. But she didn't do a bad job. Even with the joints that she wrote, she didn't do a bad job. Released in 96, 15 tracks. I got about.
You know what? I'm not mad at you, bro.
Okay.
A lot of times people kill Kim for that, but
no, that's a banging album.
When it came out, and if we look at this, Big Mama's thing was dope.
Yep, Big Mama thing. We Don't Need It. That was on the Sunset Park soundtrack.
No Time was dope.
Yes.
Crush on You. Can't nobody front on that.
Drugs.
Hard as hell.
That sample chop. That sample chop, because that's a very hard sample to chop to get it back in the space you need it.
Drugs was dumb. Queen Bitch, I'll still bang Queen Bitch.
I do all the time. I do all the time.
That beat is crazy. And Dreams was crazy. Dreams.
Answer the Bigs, John.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you for picking.
Okay, all right, okay.
I'm not mad.
Rod Digger, Dirty Harriet, released in 2000. I'm like you, Kill. 18 tracks, a bit long for me, but I think I understand why she put that many songs on it. I think she saw what we didn't know, that she might not get another shot at it, because she didn't until 2010.
That at that time, that was the going rate.
Yeah.
Those albums are based off of the going rate, because if you go back to the 80s, Thriller had 10 songs. Like there was a time when there were 8 songs. There was 4 on the A, 4 on the B, and then as we got CDs and time expanded, it was like we got
everything out.
We might have this whole 80 minutes. So Rod was just going along with what the industry standard was at the time.
She took 80 minutes. Tight. What They Call Me, produced by Primo. Do the Ladies Run This was a banger. She had Eve on there and Sonya Blade. Don't know where she went to. Imperial, Curtain, Straight Spittin' Part 2, Handle Your B.I., Scratch Blessed Her. Classic album to me. Another one, I picked Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation. I like the fact that she kind of hit you in the head. For those that don't know, the title is a play on a book by Carter G. Woodson. Being that it is Black History Month, you might want to go doing some homework. Miseducation of the Negro. Go read a book after you listen to us. 14 tracks. Just it's a good solid album overall. I'm not gonna go into the details of the songs. Everybody should know what songs is on there. And then my number one is Light as a Rock, MC Lyte. Released in 88, 10 tracks, Light as a Rock, 10% this, Paper Thin, Light the MC, I Cram to Understand, Kicking for Brooklyn. To me, 6 out of those 10 tracks was bangers. There was no fillers on that album, but those are the 6 that stuck out to me. I mean, that was my first introduction to a female in hip hop, and she's always been somebody that I looked up to from a female MC standpoint. If I needed something, if I was trying to fit something in, I've always went to Light as a Rock or the second album or even the third album. I mean, Lyte never disappoints, man. So those are my albums, man.
All right, no doubt. I'm coming in with, her name wasn't said, but I thought this was a dope album. Sweet T's first album. Very hard to find on CD, man. Very hard to find. On the smooth tip, I got that feeling.
Wow.
It's like that, y'all. And this was during the era.
Yeah.
Have a slow jam on there. Her slow jam was called "Why Did It Have to Be?" The crazy thing is, I love this slow. If y'all have never seen this video, go to YouTube. Sweet T, why did it have to be me? And it's crazy because Fonte just dissed this joint because he did something on OK Player, like the wackest hip hop love song. Yeah, but I loved it. This was
crazy.
Everybody had a slow jam out. So the Sweet T joint is Tea Time. I already talked about this classic with Rod Digger. If y'all don't have it, buy this. It's bonkers. This is just boom bap hip hop. For 10 tracks, no fillers. Just like Jay said, like Rex said, MC Lyte, Light as a Rock. He already went through everything. I'm gonna hit y'all with the Queen Latifah first album, All Hail the Queen. This was crazy. And then I'm gonna hit y'all. A lot of people don't give them their props. A lot of people, I think, look at them from the standpoint of, their ladder work, Shake Your Thing, and Let's Talk About Sex. But
that was classic. That's a banger.
Hot, Cool, and Vicious. Yo, if you've never heard Hot, Cool, and Vicious, with the old Spinderella, this is it right here. I'm talking about Beauty and the Beat, where they use the meter hand clapping songs like Tramp, I'll Take Your Man.
Get Up.
Stick on the Side. I Desire. The first time I heard the I'm In break, like, yo, the Showstoppers. My mic sounds nice.
Check one.
Like, these right here, and everybody will be like, oh, well, Herbie wrote their rhymes.
So what?
Well, all I know, they sure spit the hell out these rhymes then, because this album right here is classic to me. It's the first time I heard Eighth Wonder, that sample from the Sugar Hill Gang on here with I Desire.
Yeah.
So when you throw on I Desire, if you've never heard this album, put on I Desire, and when you hear that beat, you're gonna be shocked, because that's some straight up and down hip hop boom bap. Are there any slept on MCs? We're gonna go through. I want to shout out all the female MCs. Jace, do you have any slept on female MCs or slept on albums somebody needs to check for that you haven't named already?
No.
All right, cool. Rec, what about you?
All right, so my odd album out, which this is a tough choice. I sat for about 10 minutes when you text me. Black Rain. I had to take it out because I had to put Bahamadia into it. I had to. Black Rain, banging album. Bianca touched on it for all the right reasons. That is a classic album. If you have not listened to it, you need to go and put that in your catalog. So slept on MCs, Jean Grey, Paula Perry.
Ooh, Paula Perry from Brooklyn. With
Yes.
in the INC.
Yes. You already know where I stand with that. I started off the whole podcast with that. So
Right.
Heather B.
All clocks down.
All day. She ran with MOP just like we talked about. She held her own.
Yeah.
Boss. Boss was a female MC that was signed to Def Jam in the 90s, and she was insane.
People was stupid, man.
Don't forget she had a joint with Onyx on the album. She had anybody that was the producer East Coast wise. And you gotta remember, we talking 93. She was on Def Jam.
Yeah.
We talking Russell was still in the building.
Yeah.
So she held her own. She was not by any means a slouch at all. She was not a novelty act. She was running around. I would be surprised if she pulled a gat out too. And my final slept on female MC, Hurricane G. All I'm gonna say is, we run New York. There is a dark side. That's all I'm going to say.
I'll tell you this, and if cats and cats notice, and people who are watching the show, people get at me on Twitter all the time. My email, kill889@gmail. Get at me if the things that I talk about you don't have. I have no problem sharing music. But this joint called Milky that she had.
Hurricane G?
Yeah, Hurricane G had this joint out called Milky.
Yep.
But it was most people only have, I think, Bobbito and Stretch played it. And I think everybody's copy of it is just, eerie because it was off the radio. But that was crazy too. But dope picks. Bianca, do you have any slept on female MCs or slept on albums?
So I don't, but I want to bring light to some of the newcomers that I think have a lot of.
Yes, please.
So I'll bring up two female rappers from Chicago. One being No Name, and the other one being Dreezy. Now they're both two different types of rappers. But like No Name, she's different. She's actually a poet originally. So when you hear her stuff, she kind of has this very unique flow. It's almost like, combining poetry with, hip hop. But she tends to go with more, you could say, sometimes she does boom bap, sometimes it's more of this R&B flow. But I dig it. Dreezy, he's more, I guess you could say, like closer to now mainstream sound, but she's still very unique. And I haven't, heard anything like her. She actually does the same thing too, so that makes her unique as well.
So what are their names again?
So it's Dreezy, which is Dreezy, and then No Name. So no name.
Now I heard of No Name. She did something with Chance, right?
Yeah. Which I didn't really like that song, but I sampled it and made it dope, so it's whatever.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But
Hey, I got a question. What do you think about Tink?
yeah.
Honest opinion.
I mean, she just doesn't have anything that attracts me to her. Like, I'm just not interested. Like, I checked out her music and I was like, okay. I checked out, different songs, and it's just nothing that drew me to her. It's not like she's bad, but she just doesn't have the it factor for me.
Got it.
And you know what? The funny thing, let me jump in there real quick about Tink, because I think what messed Tink up, at least for me, was Timberland was on the Breakfast Club, hyping her up.
Yep.
Beyond belief. It was like, this is the next Aaliyah. And I played this for. She's the next thing. He just made her, and I think that was, for me at least, I don't know how that affected other people, but if you just keep talking about how great something is, you know what I mean? That I think my idea was just so above and beyond. And then I think he made a mistake by having her redo Aaliyah's 1 in a Million. You know what I mean? Because it was kind of like almost, you know, same thing that Puff did with Sean, where it was like, yo, he sounds just like Biggie. Like, you've already set somebody up to fail. Yep. You know what I mean? And I think trying to be like, oh, she's the next Aaliyah, and everybody out let her hear, you know, just, you know, can't believe it and everything like that. But I'm with Bianca. She didn't, you know, nothing about her stood out for me to be like, and I'll see like, oh, here's a new Tink mixtape. I don't even bother to really download it or whatever like that.
Mm-hmm.
Bianca, do you have any more new school people to put us on to?
No, that's it right now. I know a lot of people, I mean, the only one that's really become like big mainstream is Young M.A. from Brooklyn, because she had that Ooh joint, which I wasn't really taken with that song, and I checked out a few of her other songs, and there's a few where she's like, I'm like, is this the same person I just heard on the other song? And she comes really hard. So with her, she has potential, but she has to stay consistent. I was listening to her catalog, and she's kind of inconsistent. So she can, you know, continue. She might have a future, but so far that's the only ones I've heard so far. I haven't been put on to any other ones, but my Chicago ones I run hard with. I like those two.
All right, no doubt. For me, one of my favorite groups, but I think they kind of fell off. Well, they weren't never really here, first place to fall off, but oh my bad, I done dropped.
They falling off, kid. They falling off.
Vanessa Sequist. I don't know if y'all remember.
Whoa.
They were kind of like the Salt and Pepper knockoffs. They were on Uptown Records with Andre Harrell. They had the joint called Soul Sisters and Soft But Deadly. You know, I mean, y'all laughing. You can laugh all you want, right? Go Google, go YouTube. And this joint was kind of dope.
All right.
Breck is playing me now, but I don't care. I'm like Breck. I had Boss. Also, Antoinette, she had an album out called "Who's the Boss." It was a cool album, but you know, her joint "I Got an Attitude" to me is still just one of the most banging joints. Yo-Yo, I thought was dope. She had some good songs. She had some you know, you can't mess with my Yo-Yo. I love that joint.
Yeah.
Lady of Rage. I really thought that she was gonna, you know, kill the game after the Chronic and everything like that. And I don't even know if they ever even put out a solo album.
It did. I have it if you need it.
They did. Was it dope?
No.
No, well then I'm good.
No.
I mean,
I have it just to say I have it, but it's like one. It's not. Never mind.
Chill. Is this basically like honorable mentions round?
Yeah.
I messed up. I had a whole bunch of people, but we good.
No, man, put them out there.
Y'all pretty much hit it all on the head. I apologize.
And the last person that I had is Shorty No Mas. She was out of film. She was on De La's Balloon Mind State album. I really thought she was dope. She had a dope voice. She was cute. She had a flow. So I really thought she was gonna fit in perfect with that whole
I forgot about her.
native tongue type thing, and she kind of just disappear. Like again, like, you know, same thing with like some of these people just disappear, and I'm always curious as to why. You know, eventually we're gonna do a show on producers who kind of disappear. You know, because like 1 minute this producer's hot, next minute they're nowhere to be found, and they never heard from again. It's like the freaking Bermuda Triangle. Like they just disappear off the face of the earth. But let's do this real quick. Bianca, I really appreciate you sitting in with us today. You were dope. I mean, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna front. You're 23, so I thought you were gonna be some Nicki Minaj, which would have been fine.
I feel
the reason why I say that is because one of the things I was saying is that, you know, there's such a gap between the generations of hip hop. You know, so, you know, me being 20 years older than you, you know, I want to be able to bridge that gap, because I feel like there's always this battle between old school and new school. And I feel like there's a place where we can bridge the gap and learn from each other and everything like that. Because the one thing I feel about hip hop is, you know, it's really not passed down from generation to generation. It's passed down from the media, you know, and if you just get everything from the media, I don't think you're getting all the facts. You know what I mean? Like my daughter asked me the other day, hey daddy, you know, this Hidden Figures movie, like why didn't nobody know about this all these years? You know, and it's like, you know, because we've been waiting for, unless you're reading, we're waiting for the media to tell us about our history. You know, and I kind of feel like that's what's happening with a lot of the younger generation is they're getting their information from the media, and you're going to miss out on so much. You know, there's so many dope things Black folk have done that we don't know about, you know, myself included. So all that to just say is like, I'm in awe. I commend you for being so young and knowing so much, you know, about this generation of music and everything like that. So you got to tell me, how did this happen? How are you 23 and you're naming most of the same people that we have on our list and we're 20 years older?
So, I'm like, you know, I've told you, but I didn't tell the rest of everybody else. My mother's a musician. So she's a singer. So I've always been exposed to music. So, I mean, I was 2 years old and I used to be obsessed with Michael Jackson. So I knew the channel Michael Jackson, like, because they used to have a rerun at that time. So I was born in 93. So at that time, that's kind of when his Scandal, close to when the first Scandal came out. But they used to have a rerun. So I would watch VH1 religiously all day long. So because I watched it all the time and I always listened to the radio, I heard when, you know, you could turn on the radio and hear the message from Nas. Like, so that's how I actually was exposed to that music, because at the time I was actually listening to it when it came out. Okay. So, but as far as like music now, I can't get into Nicki Minaj even if I tried. Just her whole image. But if she hit me like, B, let's make a track, I'm not going to be like, oh, Nicki. I don't like your image. Never. We would make it hot because, of course, you know, I'm involved. But, yeah, so, I mean, I was exposed really early in my life, and I was always connected to music. So that's how I kind of knew about this stuff right here.
All right, cool. Now, tell us this. You're a producer. We linked on Twitter, just like everybody always say. As soon as I link with somebody, I go to their page, I check out their stuff. Your stuff was dope. I saw some video of you in a DITC competition, a beat competition. How was that?
So it's actually it's like a web series. So basically, everybody kind of just plays. You play 10 beats. Actually, I think you play 10 beats, or maybe you play 5. I can't remember. But you could, you know, go up, you play your music. It's almost like a showcase. Each producer goes up. So with that, you know, it was really good because everybody's sound was different that was there. But I played a lot of different tracks. At the time, Ty Fife was in the building, and this one track I played, he was feeling heavy. But yeah, with that was one of the situations I actually enjoyed doing that a lot, because I was actually able to play R&B and hip hop.
Okay.
Most of the time I gotta play hip hop, and most of the time I can't even play the hip hop I like really enjoy, because, you know, dudes be like, oh, well, this smooth stuff's cool if I'm like relaxing, but I want to, you know, hear a club joint. So I'm like, so you're just saying just because you can jump around to this, it's better than a laid back track? Like, that doesn't really make sense. But yeah, that was, you know, a good time for me. I enjoyed myself. Went to DITC studios, and the studio's dope. Like, they have this one room where the sound in it is so impeccable. I'm like, oh, I just could just play around this place forever. Yeah, that was that.
All right, that's dope. Well, give them all your stuff, your SoundCloud, your Twitter, all your social media, where they can follow you at, where they can get at you for music. Give them everything.
So Twitter and Instagram is Be The Producer. That is THA, not THE. And you can email me at abstractminor@gmail.com. You can find my music on SoundCloud at Abstract Minor. And yeah, that's pretty much all the ways you can find me.
All right, bet. Rec, what's going on? Give them all your information, bro.
All right, so the Twitter is at DJRec1. That's the number 1. SoundCloud is JRec1. Do a podcast called The Foundation. I should have that out by the weekend. I got a little beat tape out right now called Reasonable Clout. You can pick that up at chadesomerset.bandcamp.com.
All right. Jace, give them all your stuff, good brother.
Twitter is at Jerrick, JERIKTYLER. Instagram is JTyler0801.
All right. And you already know what it is with me. Twitter at Kill889. We'll make beats for food. Bianca, you still with us?
I am, just gotta charge the laptop. You don't want that dying in the middle.
No doubt. So prayerfully, this won't be the last time you chop it up with us. We
Of course not.
All right, cool. So again, you already know what it is with me, Kill889 on Twitter. We'll make beats for food. I will check y'all next week. Good looking out.
All right. Peace, people.
Peace.